There's lots of different ways to fish the Skeena River for the steelhead and the coho. And today we're going to show you how to fish pocket water. There's plenty of different spots on the river that have this pocket water, and I'll show you what the pocket water looks like, and I'll show you the two different setups you probably want to have when you come to the Skeena River. So it's fishing pocket water today as we take you sport fishing on the fly. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that big dome. Hey.
I think it's a technique. I think it's a fisherman.
Some days are good and some days are better.
A lot better. Sport Fishing on the Fly is brought to you in part by Islander, builder of world-class fly, float, and mooching reels. The Frog Boat, inspired by nature, ingenious by design. And the Freshwater Fishery Society of British Columbia. Catch what you've been missing, go fish, BC. As I mentioned on the intro, we want to show you how to fish pocket water for steelhead and coho. We're on the Skeena River, and we have, again, very low water conditions. Normally we set up in some of our favorite bars, but we found this nice run. It's a side channel that comes off the river, and it really is pocket water. We've got a head end pocket, a midsection pocket, and then kind of a long tailing pocket. And what I mean by pockets is anywhere where the water comes fast and then gets a little deeper, faster into deep, and fast and deep. And those creates pockets where the fish will come up, slide in, rest, and then move along. So what we're going to try to do is get them as they slide through the pockets. I'm starting with about 11.5 foot sage spay rod. I've got a real nice spay rod here, of course, my big Islander reel. I don't have to make long casts, but I get to cover a lot of water with the spay rod. So when I work the top end of the run, I'm going to move way up to the top end, cast quite a bit out, and let that fly have a real long swing for those steelhead. A little later on, I'll move down here, change rods into a 9.5 foot 8-weight rod, and work the pocket water with some weights and another fly. So we're going to start off by the spay, swing some for steelhead up above, and then I'll move down into the pocket water and show you that setup. So let's move up with the spay, and I'll show you how to make some casts with this rod. So I'm just going to get it out, get my line out to start, and then I will show you how to get the line out casting to make it easy so you don't have to strip. So I'll just let my line get down, because all we're doing is down and across swing. So once my line is straight downstream, rod's low, pointed that way, what I'm going to do is just do a snap tee. I'm going to snip it up, drop my rod tip, and then make the cast. So again, what you're doing is you're bringing your fly line straight back, your rod tip, straight back upstream, and then looping down under back to the starting position. That clears your line and anchors the line for your cast. And then you make your full forward roll cast. So again, just straight arms. You don't have to reel in any line. I'm just casting about 40, 50 feet. That's all I need. So again, snap tee. I'm going to lift it up, circle back to where I was, go into my D loop, and cast it out. And then I'll let that follow up through all the way for the nice drift for the steelhead. It's a great way to cover a lot of water and really effective when you've got shallow water. Again, bring it rod tip up, circle under where you were, form your D loop, and snap it out. And that's it. It's pretty simple. It's easy. You don't have to strip any line, and you get a real good down across for the steelhead and the coho.
See if we got some better size with the coho. Look at the sea lice all over this one. But geez, look at the size. The little coho are just small this year. Anyway, they're fresh in. I mean, with sea lice on them like that, they're just coming in. They just don't have the size this year for the coho. Oh well, we'll have to keep going. I think Dawn had a bigger one on, so we'll have to see if we get some larger ones, but they seem to be all that average, smaller size. Oh yeah.
That looks like a better fish. Yeah, that's a better size, isn't it? I better get the glove out for this one. This is a better one. This is what we expect. You know, coho this size.
I don't know if I can hold them up here.
Well, and the weather's going on us too. It's getting pretty rainy, pretty cold, but that's what the fish like.
Yeah, I just went up in the soft water and just swung up there. This guy's just not coming over.
It's a chum.
Oh, a chum?
Chum, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, nice chum.
That's fresh, hey, that chum?
That is a fresh chum.
Oh, oh.
That's a beauty. I'll let you unbutton him there.
Get around to this side.
Yeah, that's a nice chum, eh? There's one more shot, and then we're gonna dump her there, and there she goes.
Back out.
Gee, and I thought that was one of the
bigger coho,
bigger coho. We're hoping, you know, it's gonna be an ugly day today. It's started off real nice, and now it's starting to pour. Look at my hat.
Oh, your hat broke.
Check that guy. Oh, just the way the trip's gone. So, you know, we should explain, you know, it's our second day out here. And we had a bit of a fiasco.
Yeah.
I put my wading boots outside of the hotel room thinking that they were safe. Well, somebody took the advantage. I tempted an honest man, obviously. Somebody came by, took my wading boots to start. We have Multi Jorgensen's boat. What happens? Motor blows up. We're driving down, we get the blow up. What else happened? I want the big coho to start running. It's one thing we haven't had. We've had great steelhead, had the nice chummies, even sockeye, but we haven't had the big coho run yet.
Yeah, well, yeah. After
Keep working it. I'm going to go and try to repair my head again. The duct tape didn't cut it.
There's another one.
Big steelhead bit right by my feet.
Yeah, it was right below you, I thought.
Right by my feet. And of course, it's pouring rain. We've had to put the camera away because it's so bad of rain, but oh, he's big. He's real big. Oh, hooks out. Oh, look at that. Yeah, let's get him out in the better water here, a little deeper. But look at that. Hey, how big is that guy? Hold him up again. Look at how nice. How big is that one? That's beautiful, hey?
I don't know, it's
got to be
14
pounds, 15. Yeah, look at that. What a fight. He hit right by my feet. My fly was about 10 feet away, stripping up, and he just came and there he goes.
Okay.
Wow. Look at him.
Look at him,
there.
yeah, just
there he goes.
moves.
Just slides up in that current.
Jump.
Yeah.
Nice one. Yeah, I was watching you. And then I saw this giant boil right below your feet as you were swinging.
I just tailed the fly in, bringing it back, and boom, the guy just hammered it. Wow, that's like 3 in a row. Bang, 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 bang.
But
the rain, we can't film with the rain. We had to improvise.
Got the assistant with the umbrella. Good job, Rick.
And Les isn't happy. Well, let's get some more. That's awesome. But all day we've been using 2 different patterns. We've got the bruiser that we use for our steelhead show, and today it's always a bruiser or purple. Anything with you know, big steelhead patterns with any kind of purple in them, I mean, working well. So let's go to the bench and we'll tie you up something. It's got some purple in it, one of the classic steelhead patterns. I'm taking my big spay and I'm going back to the head end. Today on the bench, I want to tie you up the purple flash. It's one of the better steelhead patterns we've used because of the colors it incorporates. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. As the base, we'll use a size 1 stainless steel hook. For the hook, off the back, we'll use a size 2 Gamakatsu, some 3/0 red thread to tie with, some salmon pink Lite-Brite for the butt, some steelhead pearl Lite-Brite for the body, a blue saddle hackle for the rib, some rainbow polar flash for the underwing, some purple extreme fur for the wing, and some large-eye Guinea for the collar. So to start the fly off, what I've done is I've taken my hook off the back and I've tied it onto a main base hook. I'm calling it the base because what happens at the end of this tie is we cut this hook off, the front hook, and then we just have the trailing hook as the main hook. So you tie it on, you double it over, and I've used 20-pound test kind of to tie it on. So I have my thread on, and now what I'm going to do to start the fly off is take that pink Lite-Brite and move right back to the butt of the hook, the tail end, and I'm going to dub in just a butt on the fly of this pink Lite-Brite and make it a small butt. Once you have the butt tied in, I'm going to take a blue hackle and I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Very important to tie it in by the tip because we want it to start shorter near the rear of the hook and then actually hackle up a little bit bigger. So I'll wrap in that hackle. After I have the hackle tied back and waiting to rib up, I'm going to take my pearl Lite-Brite. It's a Steelhead pearl Lite-Brite. And we're going to wrap it in just on our thread and we'll wrap it forward to form the body. And again, keep it fairly thick. We don't mind it being thick because it's going to help that fly catch a lot of water. Once you have the body tied in, I'm going to take my blue hackle and I'm going to wrap it forward. And we want about, you want this to catch that purple flash or extreme hair we're going to put in later. So you want about 6 or 7 wraps. You want a fairly robust rib on this fly. And tie it off. Now that the hackle's tied in, I just want a couple of flashes on the fly. And this is just to give it a little bit of glint. And it's the underwing, so I'm going to take some polar flash, I'm going to double it up on the hook, and just bring it back as the underwing. And I'm going to bring it back about the length of the hook, just past the length of the hook, and cut it off. And this will be a nice little flash underwing. After you have a couple of flashes tied in for your underwing, I'm going to take small little clumps of my extreme hair, and you can see why. I'm going to take a small clump and start at the top, and I want this to extend again just past the hook. And I'll tie this one on the top, the first little patch. And then I'll repeat the process and go around with smaller clumps on the side of the hook and underneath. And I don't want a whole lot of extreme hair, just enough to cover the hook, but you can still see through the extreme hair. Now that you have the extreme hair tied in, so I've got a nice clump on the top and both sides, and you can just see the hackle exposed at the bottom. I'm going to take the Guinea, and we're going to tie it in at the butt. And take some hackle pliers and just wrap it forward and put a nice collar on the fly. Now that I have the collar on the fly, I'm just going to form a big red head on this pattern, whip finish it a couple times over just to make sure that knot stays. And I will give it some head cement just to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. To finish the fly off, I've got my big set of pliers, and all we're going to do is cut that front hook off right about there. So there it is, the finished purple flash. Over the years I've discovered that there's 2 things a steelhead fly has to do to be effective. It has to have the colors, and it has to displace a lot of water. And this fly does both. I want to do a little talk about how we're casting the pocket water. It's quite a bit different than when we're actually fishing the bars, but it is the same setup. So what I have is it's a 9-foot rod. 8 weight or 9 weight is good. Large arbor reel, of course, Islander we always use, which are fantastic. I've got a dry line. I've got actually a real Versatip line on right now, and I put the intermediate clear tip. So I've got an intermediate clear tip. I've got 20-pound leader, about 6 feet, down to a couple of small weights. And again, we're only using very small weights, like small, just enough to get your fly down near the bottom with a swivel. And off the swivel, I've got another, 3-4 feet to my fly. So how we do the cast, bring your line back, just cast it out. Again, 30, 35, 40 feet. Allow your rod tip to stay close to water. Oh, there you go. We got one. Nice one. Right there. Oh, nice steelhead. Again. Wow. That was awesome. Right there. Everybody saw how I presented it. I just cast it out, started letting it swing, and this guy came and ate it, and it's another nice steelhead. Oh, fantastic. Wow, he's gonna go too. He doesn't know he's hooked yet. So everybody saw the technique, and obviously it's effective because got the fish. Yeah, definitely a cool.
Here we come.
Yeah, we'll get him off the rocks. Yeah.
Looks like a coho.
Yeah. Oh, look at the fly.
Flies out again, yeah, as soon as they
just grab it on that swing. And look, that's the guy, you know, again, the purple egg sucker for both the coho and the steelhead. Very good pattern. Okay, we'll hold him up. Here he's there. Nice healthy coho.
Yeah.
You know, pretty thick along the back. So the guy probably weighs 7,
yeah,
7,
6,
8.
7 pounds,
Yes.
yeah.
Nice one. So we'll let him go again. Nice fight. And there he goes.
He's on his way.
But you know, we were showing everybody the technique. And that's a technique you developed here how many years ago?
Yeah, it's not, you know, a lot of people had written in and figuring that we're flossing the fish and stuff.
Right,
It's
yeah.
not at all. What you do is you cast out and across, and then what you're doing is holding back on the fly. They always hit at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you do get the odd foul hook. Same as when we use swinging lines, we get the odd foul hook as it swings across. But really what you're doing is you're using the weight. The weight gets you down to the bottom right away, and then you're holding the fly back, popping it back, and the fly stays right below the weight. So it keeps you on the bottom from all the way out, all the way in. Whereas with our sink tips, a lot of times you're running not until you get right into the very end does it get down.
Until they get
This
down.
way it gets it all the way down. And with sink tips, I've had numerous lost lines tangled around rocks. You know, you go heavy, and I've lost lines and tips.
And that's what I noticed too, the difference between pocket water, and that's why I prefer the pocket water here in the Skeena. Every time we've had to fish a bar because there was nowhere else to fish, you do get some false hooks for sure, because the water's going so fast and you're fishing so close to shore, you do get a lot of false hooks.
Yeah.
You do, for sure. But in this pocket water, 99% of the time they're eating it.
Yeah, well, it's right at the end of the swing because it swings down.
And as I was showing everybody earlier, you get that nice cast it out. My swing was about, you know, a quarter of the way in the swing, and that coho just snapped it up. So it's a great technique here, and you can catch 30 fish days easy out here.
Easy, yeah. And we've been on bars where others are using sink tips, like the fellow joined us yesterday. They get the odd fish, but not nearly the productivity we have. And again, very few. We get probably fewer foul hooks than with the sink tip.
Exactly.
So again, it's a great technique here. So.
Oh, that's a gorgeous steelhead. Holy cow.
He looked like to me like he was like 12 to 14 pounds.
14, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a tough one to steer in. I'll have to jab at him. Oh, I knew it. He's thick.
He's a big boy.
He's thick.
He's thick. All right, beak. Oh, I gotta get out. Tough part. There it is. Oh, that's a beauty.
He's thick, yeah. Like he's not that light. He's just thick.
That was it for a steelhead. That's what you come to the Skeena for right there, folks. That is gorgeous. Look at it again, how fat they are. Just chrome.
Perfect condition.
Oh, it is. Look at it. It's just a chrome bullet. But the air time, what's most impressive, I mean, it was
some
really
good jumps.
Big. And again, a big guy like that, he fought that well. I want to make sure he's good to go. There he goes. Oh, baby. That's what you come up here for. Wow. That's unreal.
I know.
You know, it's just crazy. It's, you know, we're just swinging in any little channel like that. But pocket water, I can't say enough about pocket water. Whenever you come to any stream and you're fishing for native rainbow, wherever, pocket water is the place to go. Look for the stairs, look for the ladders, wherever the fish can rest. That's where you get them. I'm with Lemoyne Hyde, owner of Hyde Drift Boats and one of our longest term sponsors. I want to thank you for that. And of course, we got these brand new boats, you know, the Hyde Power Drifters. It's a fantastic boat. You know, what brought it up?
Well, we'd needed to get back up the river once in a while, and you know, one day I was overfishing the Dean River in British Columbia.
Okay.
And they had a boat that had some of the ideas on it, and I they built 21 foot long and it was built out of wood. I thought, man, there's a better way of doing that.
No kidding.
So we took some of the features that we use on our drift boat, and you know, I wanted to be able to row it, I wanted to be able to jet it, I wanted to be able to just do everything. And so it was just, the longer I got playing around with it, the more ideas come up until I ended up with what we did.
You know, the nice thing too about this boat, I mean, it is, the one we got is a 17-footer. I thought it's going to be tough to row. And you know what? It's no worse with the Teflon bottom that we have on this. It's no worse than a bigger drift boat. You know, we can sit in the center and draw it. And plus, the nice thing is, especially where our home water's on the Columbia, like you say, we can buzz to the next hole, we can drift down, we can buzz up, down, we can go wherever we want. It's a fantastic thing.
You know, a river like this in here, there's no possible way that you can get around like you want to.
Exactly.
Without having the power to it.
And the Skeena, big water, this thing, no problem. We went through every little shallow, oh, how deep? You know, you can go probably over an inch of water.
Yeah, inch and a half of water for a long time.
That's
you
fantastic.
know, that normally you'll shove that water ahead of you and you got to run that water, but
Not in
with this, it just keeps on going.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for being a long-term sponsor.
You bet. Great to be a part of it.
Well, you know, we had a good week again, as always, on the Skeena. What did you find different about this year?
Well, I think the coho were a lot smaller, right? A lot of steelhead though. But in numbers, like the numbers of steelhead we caught were just great. So can't argue with that. I mean, when you're catching that many steelhead, that's fantastic.
But you know, the thing with the coho, I almost consider as fillers, right? They're filler fish because when the steelhead aren't moving through, you've got coho always pouring through. And this year, the coho being light, it was all steelhead, but it was all when the steelhead wanted to move. And when they wanted to move, I think was more in the rain. So we did have a lot of rain.
A lot of rain, but
I mean, yesterday, we couldn't even film. We had so much rain, we were absolutely soaked, but we had our best steelhead. Of course,
phenomenal fishing.
Left the camera guy at home, leave Les at home. But it was really nice to see Lemoyne hide with all his whole family out here tonight. You know, through the day, it was a lot of enjoyable. Spent a little time with them on the bar today. When you're out here, it's big water on the Skeena. You got to take care, conserve the waters, and we'll see you next time when we take you sport fishing on the fly. Oh, and also, I got to thank Rickster. The Rickster with us too. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.